I want to share with you a dream that I had on the 21st of January, 2024. I want to say that one time in my life have I had a dream that I saw play out on the national stage. So this is not something I do all the time. I don't anticipate that this is something that I'm going to do all the time. You don't have to believe my interpretation of the dream, but I'm telling you, I had the dream, and everything I'm going to tell you as far as what happened, it is the truth. When I got up that morning, within about an hour, I typed up some notes. I'm going to refer to those notes. I had a reoccurring dream last night. It was not a one-time quick flash, but it came to me at least 3 times. I saw a property line, like a picture where the line began at the bottom left of the image I saw and advanced up and slightly right. At first, it looked like the property line of some desert resort or oceanside resort, but then it was like the camera pulled back, and I realized I was looking at the U.S.-Mexico border. On the right side, there was a succession of plants that had been recently planted in the ground. The plants were non-distinct, but looked like the kind that could grow in very arid conditions. Pardon me, almost looked like the top of a pineapple, but pineapple has nothing to do with the dream. I could see probably 12 or more plants, but the bottom one, the image was more like an icon with ribs, 4 to 6 ribs, but the icon was the same size as the plants. Somehow I knew that underneath the plants there were caches of weapons. I never saw weapons, I never saw guns or explosives or anything like that. I just knew that under the plants there were weapons. Throughout, I had a reoccurring sense of an image of Joe Biden's face seen from the side as he was looking toward the plants. It was as though his image was superimposed on the picture, so he was on the right of the property line and his image was about in the middle of the paper. And I'll add that his image was more or less half transparent or half translucent. I also had the reoccurring awareness of Afghanistan and the weapons we left behind there. There may have been muted conversations that I overheard or news stories where there's words spoken, but you can't hear exactly what's being said, but I was aware of a conversation that existed all the way from Afghanistan somewhere to the Middle East, and I had the awareness that the weapons we left behind in Afghanistan and the weapons under the plants were somehow connected. If the weapons under the plants were not actually from Afghanistan, they were for the same purpose. I also knew that some of the people coming over the border knew where these weapons were, and the danger was they would use them against the United States. Now, I'll tell you what happened. When my wife got up that morning, I told her about the dream, and she could tell you, this is not what we do on a regular basis. But I told her about the dream, about the property line, about the plants, and about the ribbed icon. As soon as I was finished telling her about the dream, I was going to be heading out to church in a little bit, but I sat down on the couch and I was going to do a quick scan of headlines, which I am wont to do. I grabbed my phone, went to Citizen Free Press, and the first headline that I saw and subsequently clicked on was entitled, "Sections of Border Wall Cut Down." Now, I was not able to find, before I came to do this talk, that exact story, but I pulled this story, and this gives you the basic idea, because when I clicked on that story, I saw where about a 20-foot section of the border wall had been cut. It looked like almost stumps in the ground, and about a 26-foot section was laying on the ground, and it had that ribbed appearance. Now, looking back, I'm going to call that confirmation number 1. The next day, Monday, I was talking to my friend, Pastor Dan. I told him about this dream. As soon as I hung up the phone, I got out of the car and went to go back into work where I work, I looked down just happened to look down at the mat in front of the door, and this is what I saw. Now, I don't know if this is part of a broken automobile grill or a pick for your hair, but it certainly reminded me of the ribbed icon that I had seen in the dream and that I had just been talking about. So I'm going to call that, for me, confirmation number 2. A little bit later in the day, I was talking to my friend Patrick about this dream, and he said something to me that I would have never thought of. He said, I think you should Google up and find the plants that you saw in the dream, and I think you would learn something. Now, I told him that I would, pardon me, but once again, that's not anything that would ever have occurred to me. So I went to Dogpile, because I do not use Google, and I typed in plants that grow in arid regions or something like that. And I'm looking through literally hundreds of images, couldn't find anything that looked like what I saw, but then I did see an image that looked just like what I saw, and when I clicked on it, the name of that plant was Adam's rib. So looking back, for me, that's like 3 confirmations. Now, I'm not asking you to believe me or believe my experience. I'm just telling you, I had that dream, and those 3 things did happen just the way that I just told you. So I want to separate the dream from some things that I've learned since then. Some of the things that I've learned since then was I was not aware. If it had already happened, I wasn't aware. But the Supreme Court, oddly enough, Justice Roberts and Coney Barrett voted with the liberals to basically oppose Governor Greg Abbott in Texas, and so the administration wants literally to tear down barriers so illegals can come over. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Greg Abbott would make the decision that no, he's going to stand on the Constitution and defend his state of Texas. I did not know that 25 other states would eventually get on board and pledge National Guard troop support for that effort. And I did not know that evidently a huge trucking convoy is on their way to Texas even as we speak. So what do we make of this? I will tell you that the reason I'm sharing this video is that you pray. Not that you be afraid, but that you pray. If this dream was from God, I believe that it is. It's not to scare me or scare anybody. It's so that we can pray effectively for this country. I'm praying, asking God to show me more about what this dream means. I didn't know how to do that years back when I had the one other dream similar to this that I ever had. Number 2, if the dream is accurate, and I believe that it is, that means those weapons are there, okay? I'm asking God to show it to us. I'm asking the Lord to show us who put them there. I'm asking the Lord to show us who is in on it and knows about it, and any money connections and any other kind of connections. I'm praying for angels to protect America, to protect any of the troops that are there, to protect any of the volunteers, because there are volunteers. There's a website up right now in Texas. I think you have to be former military, but you can actually volunteer to help with this effort. And I'm asking for protection for any of the truckers and anybody else, for simply protection, about safety. And I'm also praying that angels will keep those weapons out of the hands of evil people, and any weapons that do find themselves in the hands of any people simply won't work. Now, if this scenario, this scenario is very, very serious, because a lot of terrorism could happen, but something else could happen. A false flag operation could happen that would give the Joe Biden regime the pretense or the predicate, however you say that, to use some kind of martial law or declare some kind of emergency or something like that. I believe that the Lord has this completely under control, but I would encourage you to pray. Whether you put any stock in what I just told you about this dream or not, it certainly makes sense to pray. This is an unprecedented situation of basically a standoff of we the people versus this evil regime. So I've done what I felt like I needed to do. I wanted to share that with you. If this resonates with you, share it. I didn't do this for clicks or anything like that, but we need to pray for our country, and we need to pray for the people there in Texas and everybody involved, and certainly pray against false flags. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and God bless you.